So, welcome to the Sunday Premier League results show. I'm here in Thailand on Monday morning after having watched the highlights earlier in the day. It has to be said, it's cold here. Yeah, I'll repeat that. It's cold. For Thailand, it is cold. And we're looking at sort of temperatures under 20 degrees Celsius. Anyway, so now I've done the weather forecast, let's get on to the action. There were 4 games played on Sunday, and I'm going to cover all 4 of them. 2 of them I saw in their entirety, but the late games are just highlights. So let's get started. Brighton at home to Sheffield United. Bottom of the table clash, really. Sheffield are right at the bottom, Brighton 4th from bottom, and Welbeck was rested on the bench for the Seagulls, and that was the extent that I could see impact on those 2 sides. So let's get off then. Trossard early on, from a corner, found Dunk, and his header went over the bar. 19 minutes, the Blades lost some control of the ball near their Brighton's box, and the swift counter-attack led to a Lallana shot which got deflected for a corner. Connolly also got a shot involved, and Maupay. So early activity was mainly down the Sheffield United end, but then on 31 minutes a free kick from McGoldrick just outside the box, and he certainly worked Sanchez, who seems to be in for Ryan at the moment. Then on 36 minutes a significant incident that affected the whole game, really. A very hefty challenge from Lundstrom, and the referee awarded a yellow, and then VAR had a good look at it and suggested to the referee that he have another look at it on closed circuit, which he did, and the advice was that it was a reckless, dangerous challenge. And so the next second, yellow turned to red, and Lundstrom was off. So Sheffield United were again down to 10 men. That was the state at the half, goalless. Second half, Brighton obviously in the ascendancy to a large extent, but against the run of play slightly, 65 minutes, the substitute Bogle managed to get a strike inside the Brighton penalty area, and it managed to deflect over the top of Sanchez, and that was 1-0 for the Blades. And so they really had something to hang on to, and they desperately started to show how stubborn they are in defence. Ramsdale tipped over a Westwood drive. Welbeck came on for Maupay, and it was all hands on deck, really, as the Brighton offence went across the park and trying to get round the back. But Ramsdale really earned his shillings, and it looked like they were possibly going to hang on to what they got. But then on 87 minutes, Welbeck, anticipation in the box from a deflection from a defender, and he hit it on the volley from a few metres, and that was 1-1. More pressure as the Blades desperately try to hang on to their point, and one wonders how they kept the ball out in the last 2 minutes of added time. It was like a ping pong ball in the Sheffield United defence and in or around the 6-yard box, but they did survive, and so we got to the finish line Final score at the Amex: Brighton 1, Sheffield United 1. Okay, second match up then, much anticipated clash at the New White Hart Lane. Spurs at home to Leicester. The winner would be looking at second place in the table at least, so on paper it looked like a pretty even clash. As we got, let's have a quick look at the team news. Bale back on the bench for Spurs. Castinho was back at right back for Leicester. Perez on the bench. Albrighton keeping him out, and Fofana maintaining his place. Spurs. Well, Lo Celso was in. Bergwijn was not available. Mora on the bench, and we got going anyway. I still try to get the name, but Doherty. He, after an initial holding onto that right back position, is now firmly entrenched on the bench. Aurelia keeping him out. So anyway, off we went, and the first quarter, it was certainly Leicester that caught the eye. Spurs were certainly very defensively minded, hardly putting an attacking move together. Leicester was sweeping the ball about, nice interlocking passing, although they didn't actually create a lot of real, what I would call good chances. But their midfield, particularly Maddison and Tielemans, were sort of running the show, really. On 32 minutes, though, Spurs did get their first opportunity, a free kick from 30 yards, and Kane took it, but it was deflected off the wall, and Schmeichel managed to cover it pretty easily. 40 minutes, Son corner, and this time Kane headed over. And then on 43 minutes, an opportunity, Ndidi fed Maddison, and his shot was a good one, but Lloris again looking well in control. And then we then had a rather crazy situation just before the half-time break, when Leicester in possession, they put the full forward, and Aurelio went for the ball with Fofana, and he managed to push him in the back right in front of the referee, and it was also, he was inside the penalty box about a foot, so no choice but to award a penalty. I don't know what Aurelio was doing, but there was absolutely no imminent threat. But anyway, Vardy stepped up, and it was 1-0 for Leicester, and that was the score at the half-time break. Second half, then Mourinho put on Bale, took off Ndombele, but it was much the same with Leicester controlling things. Maddison got a shot away, easy for Lloris though. But then a couple of minutes later, a brilliant strike from Maddison after a ball over the top from Justin. It gave the keeper absolutely no chance, and we all thought 2-0. But then VAR had a look at it, and they judged him to be a sort of toe offside, so it was chalked off. And then Leicester, didn't seem to affect them too significantly, because on minute 58, a cross from Albrighton, and at the far post was Vardy. He headed it back across goal, and it hit Alderweireld and went in the net. It was a bit fortunate, it has to be said, but on the run of the play, Leicester deserved it, so they were 2 up. Expecting an onslaught from Spurs, well, they did improve slightly, but their strong suits, Son and Kane, they just didn't perform, it has to be said. And Bale tried his best. He did feed Kane on 61, but again, Schmeichel did enough. And it dribbled away the time that was, and more frustration for Mourinho on the sidelines. But to be perfectly frank, Spurs, who were well below par, never looked like they were going to get back into this one. And if anything, it was more likely that Leicester got a third. But that didn't happen. We got to full time. A strange sort of match, really. A good result for Rodgers, though. Final score then, Spurs 0, Leicester City 2. So the third match then on Sunday was the much anticipated clash between Manchester United and Leeds United. Down the years, this fixture has brought about some tremendous matches, and there was quite an anticipation that this one might do the same. Leeds, of course, unchanged after that battering of Newcastle. Manchester United, few changes, it has to be said. No Pogba. He was great earlier in the week, but he was missing. McTominay and Fred replaced him and Matic. James was in for Greenwood. Shaw back at left back. Cavani on the bench, and Mata alongside him. I think that's probably about it, really. Particularly interesting was to see that James got a run out, because we've seen very little of him this season after he made quite a big impact in the last season. We got going, and it didn't take long for United to show what they were made of, and a lovely goal it was as well. Leeds lost possession near their own halfway line. It was quickly moved up into the danger area. Fernandes getting the final touch to McTominay, and he unleashed a lovely sliced low shot which went in the right corner, and no chance for Meslier, and that was 1-0 for the Red Devils. 2 minutes later, and United had doubled their lead, and McTominay had got a brace. An equally good piece of work after Martial was involved as an assist from a corner. So 2 for McTominay, and Man U 2 up. Minute 19, and the dominance by United continued with Fernandes. After again possession being lost by Leeds, Fred got hold of the ball, and he managed to get the ball to Bruno Fernandes, who gobbled it up, and that was 3-0. 36 minutes, it became 4, and this was after again some great build-up work and another assist from Anthony Martial, and it was put away by Lindelof, and he doesn't score that many. So it was 4-0, and we were almost at the half-time break when Cooper headed in from a corner from Rafinha to get a goal back for Leeds. So they probably felt at the break that they still had half a chance. Into the second half, though, and James nipped through and shot through the goalkeeper's legs after, again, some great work by McTominay in midfield. He was having a stormer. So that was 5-1 for United. And then on 67 minutes, Martial finally got his own goal. He assisted, in fact. He didn't get it. I misread that. He got clipped in the box, and Fernandes came up and took the penalty, and he completed his brace. That was 6-1. A consolation for Dallas on 72. A lovely strike it was from distance. Brought it back to 6-2. But that was it from Leeds. No heroic comebacks here. Probably Solskjaer will be annoyed that they conceded 2. But there had been an issue about Old Trafford and results. But certainly didn't happen last night. A tremendous victory for Manchester United. They are now up to 3rd in the table, and they still have a game in hand, so they could get, I think, to within 3 points of Liverpool. I'll do that a little later. So final score at Old Trafford, Manchester United 6, Leeds United 2. Final match then on Sunday was an West Midlands derby. West Bromwich Albion against Aston Villa. And of course, Albion's new coach, Sam Allardyce, in attendance in the dugout. I'm just having a quick, Cash was back for Albion. That's the only change that I saw. Villa were very much unchanged. 4 minutes they got off to a great start when El Ghazi flicked in at the near post. Flicked in at the far post from a great cross by Traore. And so that was 1-0 for Villa. They basically dominated this match from start to finish. Lovely passing. Grealish at the heart of everything, of course. McGinn, he had an effort, a few half chances in the first half, as did Watkins. Livermore managed to get himself sent off for a really nasty challenge on Grealish on 36 minutes. So we got to the break with Villa 1 up and Albion down to 10. Into the second half, for Grealish worked Johnson on 47. McGinn also involved and managed to get a header that went just wide. And Johnson denied El Ghazi a second goal for him. But finally on minute 83, Grealish found Traore with a delightful pass, and Traore's neat finish, gently pushing it wide of Johnson into the corner, was a thing of beauty. 85 minutes, there was another incident which led to a penalty. Grealish brought down in the box. El Ghazi, who scored from a penalty just a few days ago, he stepped up and he scored again. So it was a miserable first outing for Allardyce. Final score at the Hawthorns: West Brom 0, Aston Villa 3.